Communication is how I went from a sniffling people pleaser into a man who takes action. When I was younger, I was a chronic people pleaser. I wanted everyone to like me. So, in an effort to make that a reality, what I would do is say yes to everything and everyone. Even if it sometimes got me in trouble, even if it sometimes stretched me so far that I would spend money and time and effort, even when I really didn't want to do it, I would just say yes because I wanted people to like me so bad. I was a chronic people pleaser. I then realized that if I wanted to meet my goals in my life, I couldn't do that anymore. See, one of the biggest things that happened in my life was I started to become more selfish. Being selfish gets a bad rep. We always think of selfish people are arrogant, they're selfish. And that's true. And that's a trait that I admire in them. However, there's a difference. Selfish people are selfish because they've acquired skills. Selfish people first had to go through their own troubles, their own traumas, and fix them before they could become the confident person they are. And in my case, the biggest thing that helped me go from the sniffling people pleaser into a man who takes action was this. When I became a more confident communicator, my whole life changed. One of the biggest ways is number one, I was able to create a business from it. I now coach people into becoming more confident communicators themselves. Business. Number two, however, is personal-wise, relationships-wise. Whether business, friendships, networking, etc. Relationships. When I improved my communication skills, my relationships and networks went through the roof. It was mainly because of the value I could provide them. A big part also, however, was me. I just felt more confident walking into rooms. I felt more confident being myself and communicating my value to other people. Business and relationships, two of the most important things in a man's life, and communication is the thing that ties these two things together. If you can't communicate, then you won't have a business or a career and you won't have relationships. When you become a more confident communicator, it's a cheat code. You will walk into rooms with your chest out, your back straight, your voice strong, speaking from your diaphragm, and 99% of men don't do that. So when you do that, you become the outlier. People won't even realize why they're flocking to you, but they just are. Let's go a bit more deeper. So I said business and relationships, cool. Practical wise, one of the biggest things that helped me become more confident as a communicator and stop being a people pleaser was this. Public speaking. Two things. Public speaking. Two things about public speaking. Number one, apparently public speaking is the biggest fear in the world. Just think about that for a moment. People fear public speaking more than they fear dying, more than they fear snakes or spiders. How? Because the second thing that I wanted to say is people public speak every day in their lives. Whenever you go outside, you're public speaking. It's crazy. Whenever you go outside, you're speaking in public. So don't try to think of public speaking as the TED Talks or the keynotes or the presidential inaugurations. Think of public speaking as your life every day. So why not try to at least develop it as a skill? Develop your second thing that I wanted to talk about. Conversational skills. Conversational skills, public speaking. These two things are the exact same thing. Of course, they're different sides of the same coin. They're two different things, but they're different sides. When you improve one, you improve the other. Let's go back to public speaking. The reason why when I improved my public speaking, I became more confident is because I know that when I'm doing that, I'm doing something that not a lot of people can do. The mere fact that I'm standing up on stage speaking is more than anyone else would ever even try to do, which makes me valuable. Also, it makes me more confident. Not looking at anyone else, looking inwards. When I finish speaking in front of a crowd, I'm always like, Tion, you've just imprinted your values, your guidance, your advice onto people who wanted it. You just made a difference in their lives. You will be rewarded for that. You are doing what you love and you are helping people. You will be rewarded for that. Making me more what? Confident. Making me feel more what? Deserving. Conversational skills. Again, every time you step outside your house, you're more than likely going to have a conversation. So why not try to improve your conversational skills? One of the biggest things you can do is transitioning your conversation from small talk to deep talk. Let me give you an example. The small talk is, how's the weather? Did you watch the sports game last night? How's work going? That's the small talk. The deep talk is, if you had to pick one thing to do for the rest of your life, what would it be? If you were completely rich and you had nothing and you had no worries in your life, what would you be doing? That's deep talk. Now, transitioning from small talk to deep talk, it can be awkward. You're probably not going to ask that to a random person on the street. But let me tell you a secret. The best communicators do. The best communicators don't put restrictions, don't put boundaries on themselves. Because the best communicators, they don't ask questions to be invasive or to be awkward. They ask questions because they're truly interested in people. And getting into deep talk will get you to understand the person's ideologies. Small talk to deep talk is one of the best skills you can learn. Transitioning a conversation from first meeting somebody to being able to get deep with them. That is how you remember someone. That is how they remember you. Asking someone their goals, their ideologies, even their fears about their family, about what they like, about their hobbies, what gets them out of bed, what doesn't get them out of bed. That's when you truly understand someone. Back to the original point of the video. What got me from a yes man, basically, into a man of action, was communication. Once I improved my communication skills, I became so much more confident. So much more confident. So much more confident walking into a networking event on my own. So much more confident asking for an increase in my rate of pay. So much more confident walking up to a random person in the street and giving them a compliment. Improve your communication skills and you will no longer be a yes man. You will become more confident, in a way more arrogant, in a way more selfish. But let me tell you a secret. Confident, arrogant and selfish people get what they want in life. They're the person who's getting the promotion while you're not. Now, a mistake a lot of people make is they automatically marry those three things with being a dickhead, with being a twat. That's not true, because there are also people who are the complete opposite of those three things, who are shy, who don't believe in themselves, who are dickheads. The reason why a lot of shy, unconfident people are dickheads is because they can't express themselves. They're angry that the people who are communicators, who are charismatic, are getting all the opportunities while they're not. If you take away two things from this video, Improve your public speaking, improve your conversation skills, and watch your confidence shoot up. If you want to work with me one-on-one to become a more influential communicator, then click the link in my bio in the description below and we can have a call. Let's see if we can help you.